President Trump today announced an ambitious plan to build a so-called Golden Dome missile defense system modeled somewhat after the one that's protected Israel for years. And it comes as many of his allies are in D.C. to mark the achievements of his first months in office. So let's bring in my guest live in studio, David Scharf, back up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Good to see you again.
It's great to be back, Jim.
So this big announcement today, this was the release came out, said the president was going to be out there with Pete Hegseth at 3 o'clock. There was a lot of speculation, and you were pretty much there from the get-go. What was the reaction?
Well, it was a fantastic day because I remember as a Reagan-era kid growing up in this country, when President Reagan announced Star Wars, it gave us the ability to breathe and focus on our education, focus on what our career paths were going to be, because we felt like we were going to be safe. And I think President Trump is trying to do that for the American public. He's talking about peace. He's talking about prosperity. And you don't get prosperity unless people feel comfortable that they have a future, that the investment that they're going to make in their futures isn't going to be destroyed by a missile.
So I remember, I mean, obviously different time in my life as well, but, you know, like growing up during the Reagan era and hearing about Star Wars and me thinking as a kid, oh, is that a movie? Obviously not so much in that realm. Why do we need that? If the Cold War is over, why do we need an investment? That's $175 billion. That's a huge investment, as you said, in security and safety.
Well, I think there are two parts to it, Jim. First of all, we've got China, which is an enemy.
Sure.
We've got North Korea still out there shooting off their ballistic missiles and testing like that. We have Iran, who's refusing to stop uranium enrichment where that lands. We've got Pakistan and India, two nuclear-capable countries who have been, let's call it, skirmishing. But the opportunity here for the president is to be able to take that investment to protect the United States and invest it in our country. Invest $175 billion in our military defense. That goes right back into our communities. That goes right into our companies. And that's part of what the president is trying to create with prosperity in this country, to provide for workers, to provide for jobs, and to provide for corporate opportunity for American corporations.
For people who say this is too big, it's too expensive, but it is a big picture. This is one of those big picture expenditures that every president has some sort of big idea that may or may not come to fruition. Is this something, does he have the support to make this happen now?
Well, it looks like it's going to get into the big, beautiful bill.
It'd be about $25 billion right now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that's part of, what he was up on the Hill talking about, and making sure that he had support for that and to get this passed. I think the way it works economically in terms of reinvesting in the United States and protecting the United States public is exactly what the president is supposed to be doing. The president is supposed to have these great big ideas, and President Trump, his entire career and his life has been built on effectuating big, bold ideas, and this is certainly one of them.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you don't come in here as somebody who served in the cabinet, but you did know the president well before his time at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So when you see things like this, Donald Trump has always been somebody in one way, shape, or form who has thought about these big picture items. And obviously the question is, how do you get there? And that seems to fit with your experience with him.
I mean, I've known the president for over 23 years now. I've had an opportunity to work alongside of him, take direction from him, work on litigation matters for him, be an advisor to him. And, this is just everyday life for President Trump. This is what he wants to do. And he's been preparing for these first 120 days for 4 years. I mean, that's part of what his initiative was, the American First Policy Institute, and how they were operating and implementing America First policies. And that's what you're seeing with Golden Dome.
What do you see right now as the signature achievement of the first 120 days?
I think there are so many, but I think one has to start with the border. One has to start with going out to the Middle East last week and coming back with $1 trillion of investment in the United States. That's going to fuel our economy. The president wants to make good on his promises to the American people. And literally every day you can see him say, promises made, promises delivered. These are the things that I said I'm going to promise and deliver for the American people. And having foreign investment in this country, getting trade representatives from countries as well as companies coming here and wanting to get in business and to do deals, that's going to create American prosperity, unleashing American energy. These are the things that he has focused on, and protecting the U.S. people and bringing jobs back to the United States is at the forefront of his agenda. It's something he's believed in for as long as I've known him.
We're going to see how this all plays out. As I mentioned, he's still trying to win some support on Capitol Hill with some Republicans, but it's clearly just a handful of those. We'll see where that goes from here. Hey, great to see you again. We
Great to see you. Thank you for having me back.
And you're coming in live, which I also appreciate. We're back after this on The Final.